David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another special fountain pen review. A little bit ago, I had mentioned that the good folks at urushipen.com had kindly lent me two pens from Danitrio. The first one was the Hummingbird model, which was very nice. And today I have for you the second one, which is called the Tamuri in red on Takumi. What I'm going to do today is talk a little bit about the Tamuri Urushi technique, what makes it unique, and I'll go over the parts and features of this luxury pen, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about it. I'll show some measurements, size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. The pen arrives in this nice softwood box. It has the company name here on the front. I won't go into Danitrio's history this time around. I discussed that in my last Danitrio review, so if you'd care to learn more about this interesting company, you can check out that video. Inside, there is, let's set this aside, a branded polishing cloth, and then there is a kimono sleeve, and inside this kimono sleeve, we have a pen. This is the Danitrio Tamuri in red on Takumi. Names for Danitrio pens tend to be very descriptive. Tamuri is the Urushi technique used on this pen. Red is the color of the Urushi, and Takumi is the name of the model. I wanted to talk a little bit about Tamuri, and I think the best way to do that would be to take a close-up look at this pen, and in order to do so, please join me over here at camera 2. So here is the Danitrio Tamuri in red on Takumi. Now, let's talk a bit about tamuri, which is one of my favorite Urushi techniques. It's used often and is considered to be one of the more basic techniques. It is the process of layering a translucent Suki Urushi over a typically colored Urushi, which serves to create a great deal of depth and color variation. The word tami means lake or pool, and nuri means lacquering. In a lake, there are areas of shallow water near the shores and areas of deep water. In the shallow water, you can see the bottom, and the deeper water tends to be much darker. The same can be said for Tamuri pens, where the deeper part of the Urushi applications here are deeper in color, and then where the application is shallower, you can see some of the brighter color peeking through. Now, here are some examples on some other pens. Now, this is a Platinum Izumo. It's actually a Kuro Tamuri, which is green and black. And you can see here we have that shading here on the shallower areas. And then we have a couple from Nakaya. There is the Dorsal Fin 2, which has two fins, one on the cap and one on the barrel. There is an original dorsal fin model where there is just a fin on the cap. And then here is a Nakaya Decapod. This is a Decapod Twist. And then here is an example from Wancher. This is their Dream pen model. And then finally, there is a Tamuri offering from Inso on their Piuma model. And that is a darker, kind of blacker Urushi with the red undercoating. So you can see that there can be a variety of looks while still using the same Urushi techniques. When you have more curves and edges and facets, like on the Decapod Twist here, then you'll see more of the underlying cover. Another significant factor when it comes to the look of these pens is time. Urushi is a natural element which changes over time. The same technique on a pen 5 years old can look significantly different than on a brand new pen. Over time, the material continues to cure. Some of the layers might become more transparent, and more of the solid base color can be visible. Okay, let's take a closer look at the parts and features of this specific pen. The ends are rounded here on the cap as well on the barrel. I do like this clip. It's a unique shape. It also almost reminds me of one of those Italian horn necklaces. There's also options to purchase this pen without a clip or with a painted clip, which has an interesting nashigi treatment, which has a kind of raw and dented and unfinished look to it. The cap angles up for about an inch and then remains straight. The rounded step down to the barrel is minimal and smooth. The barrel is then straight for a couple of inches before tapering down to a rounded point. Here you could see let's get a good look at it, the signature of the Urushi artist who created this pen. This pen was lacquered by Kiichiro Ozaki, who is an artisan who is recognized by the Japanese government as a Dento Kogeshi, which is an honorary title meaning master of traditional crafts, and is only given to a select few artisans who've made a significant contribution to their craft. Koichiro doesn't only work on pens, he also performs makie on combs and jewelry and even traditional hairpins. I like being able to tie a piece of functional art like this back to an individual artisan. The cap twists off in just under 2 rotations, and underneath we have this two-toned number 6 gold nib. This one has the very cool imprint of the fireball, which I just love. Very cool. And here is a look at the plastic feed. Let's get another closer look at that fireball. I just think that fireball is amazing. The section begins with a very slight flare and then angles up a touch before you reach the threads and a small step up to the remainder of the barrel. This section isn't overly long, but it gets the job done. I don't find my grip spilling over to the threads, and even if it did, they're not sharp or uncomfortable. This pen is plenty long enough to use unposted. You wouldn't want to post an Urushi pen like this anyways. I did notice that when you're holding the pen, the signature is on the bottom. Now, I can understand how that provides a nice, clean, uninterrupted look while you're writing, but I actually like seeing that signature. I kind of wish that it was on the top so that you could see it each time you use the pen. I did notice that when this pen is capped, the signature aligns roughly with the clip, which makes for a nice aesthetic. Okay, you can imagine that this luxury piece of art comes at a luxury price, and you would be correct. But in relation to other similar pens on the market, it's not outrageous. This pen retails on the Urushi Pens website for $1,800. Danitrio pens are handcrafted luxury offerings, and while they offer a few models in the $1,200 to $1,500 range, they offer a number of pens in that $1,800 range. I do own one Danitrio pen. It is this one right here. This is called the Genkai. It is one of the more expensive pens in my collection, and I have not regretted the purchase. So if you're in the market for a high quality, high-end Urushi offering, then Danitrio is definitely a good place to check it out. I'll put a link in the notes below to the Urushi Pens website. If anything, you should check it out for some fantastic eye candy. So in regard to those size comparisons, I know I had them out here previously, but this is what it looks like in regard to the Genkai. Just because I love showing it off, this Genkai has a number 8 nib and has the other Danitrio imprint, which I feel is amazing as well. So between the two Danitrio nibs, I think they have some of the best imprints out on the market. I just think that looks amazing. But this is an extremely large pen, one of the largest in my collection as well, and this is what it looks like in comparison to the Tamanuri here. And then this is what it looks like with the Nakaya Decapod Twist. And then here it is with the Platinum Azumo. In regard to some uncapped comparisons, this is what it looks like with the Wancher Dream Pen. And then here it is with the Nakaya Dorsal Fin 2. And then finally, here it is with the Genkai. So here we have the Danitrio. And this is the Tamanuri in red on Takumi. This is a fine 18 karat gold nib. And the ink I'm using here is one of my favorite blues, which is Pilot, a Roshizuku, Konpeki. This is what the ink looks like. It's a nice vibrant blue with a little bit of sheening to it. Here's another blue I'm fond of, which is the Robert Oster Admiral Blue. And then here it is with Andorilium's Blue Ring Octopus Blue, which is a little bit lighter. And here is one of the Konpeki bottles. And I'm probably, getting close to finishing this bottle. And it might be my third I'm done. Yeah, I think I've finished 2 bottles, and this is my third. So it obviously is an ink that I use a great deal. And here we go with the rest of the writing sample. I will say that this 18 karat gold nib is very pleasant. For a fine, I'm usually not a huge fan of fines. It does have a little bit of feedback to it. You can get a decent amount of flex out of this as well. But it's not so fine that it's scratchy, and the ink flow is still really good on it. In regard to reverse writing, it does well and lays down a nice extra fine line. And then in regard to some fast writing, the feed keeps up very nicely as well. This is just a really pleasant nib to use. And I do like the feedback that it provides. And as you can see, you can get a decent amount of flex in there as well. So here you have the Danitrio Tamuri in red on Takumi. As I mentioned before, I encourage you to check out the urushipen.com website. There'll be a link in the notes below to check this pen out, as well as some other very interesting Danitrio eye candy. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.